People know me as Bossman. I started up about 5-6 months ago to talk for the EDL, to give the people the message that, like I said earlier, that the media should be given to the people. We are a voice of the people. This isn't about being against all Muslims. This is not a Muslim thing. This is about militant Islam. This is about the ideology, the totalitarian death cult, we like to call it. We're seeing the rise of these people all across Europe at the moment. We can't all be wrong. We have certain scholars across the world at the moment that know the Quran inside out, and they can tell you categorically there's over 164 verses that cause these people to wage some sort of jihad. But they will tell you it's an inner struggle. It's not an inner struggle. Jihad means a holy war. That's it. To talk about Tommy Robinson and why probably the EDL haven't got a leader at the moment. Tommy Robinson, the head apparently was cut off the EDL when Tommy Robinson had to leave. He was forced to leave the EDL along with Kev Carroll. As a group, as a collective, we are now stronger, less attackable, and moving forward, the ideas of one man really can't bring across the views of a whole movement. So there's a committee, there's a chairman, there's lots of ROs and DOs that run every division and every group. We're going forward in a way really that's never been seen before. And like I say, you know, we're all leaders. Steve Edwards said the right thing at the Birmingham demo. We're all leaders in this street movement, and it is the biggest street movement in the country, probably the likes of which will never be seen again. And we're seeing the rise, as I say, of certain groups in Europe at the moment that are trying to deal with the Islamist threat. You know, there's a lot of stuff you don't see on the news. You know, cars being burnt out, mass riots in the streets in Europe. It's slowly creeping in and coming over to us. We can see the news because we do research. For the people out there that don't, I suggest you jump on YouTube. You have a look on the blog sites. You go on the EDL.org site. Educate yourselves to the ways of these people and the militant ideas that they have. Sharia law is already entwined into our legal system to a point. And I think over 60 or 70 Sharia law courts actually operate in this country at the moment.
Can you tell me what you think about the people that are here to oppose us today?
Yeah, I'd say really they're living in a bubble. You know, we could to talk about the TUC, Antifa, you know, UAF, all these people that want to oppose the EDL and call us racists and bigots and fascists and knuckle draggers. You know, this is the English Defence League. It's not called the English Oppressive League. You know, it's the English Defence League, and we will defend all that is English as a league. We do what it says on the tin. For people to come out with words like racist, I suggest you go and look at the dictionary and actually find out for yourselves what racist actually means. I don't feel superior or inferior to any race of people, and Islam is not a race of people. It's a religion, and lots of different races, colours and creeds join that religion. We, at the moment, have been seen to be a lot more peaceful on our demos, which is a really good direction to take. We're hoping to gain the support of the people from behind their front doors that maybe are a little bit too scared to come out because of the violence that was seen years ago. But for the UAF and Antifa and the rest of them, you know, we saw a demonstration a couple of years ago. The MDL was standing with the UAF, and they got bored and actually attacked Antifa. So you've got to understand that these people are literally I wouldn't know the word. They're literally making this problem a lot worse. If these people weren't opposing us on a march, there would be no need for the police. There would be no need to spend £500,000 to £1 million, however much it costs to police the demos. But you know, these details are released. These people obviously got nothing better to do. They live in a little bubble. They don't know what Islam is about. And like I said, to be attacked by the people they were protecting or trying to protect, for me, was just absolutely, you know, the irony is off the scale on that one.
With regards to, you just mentioned, which seems a bit of a change, maybe the EDL is going forward in their ideas, that not all Muslims are your enemy, it's the extremists. With regards to those that aren't your enemy, the ones that just want to earn a living, they just want to practice their belief system quietly, what would you say you would expect them to do if they are British citizens in this country?
I'd expect them to, you know, when they see something happening in their community, I'd expect them to stand up and be counted. And we're not seeing any of that at the moment. We're not seeing these people coming out and condemning any action or any actions of the hate preachers. We're not seeing the condemning of ISIS. You know, we've actually seen ISIS flags flying across this country at the moment, you know, from cabs and above mosques and all sorts. So, you know, we're led to believe that this is a peaceful religion. We're led to believe that it's a small minority of people that are actually instigating this. What I would say to you is that there are probably moderate Muslims, but there is no moderate Islam. It's as simple as that. And you know, I could be you know, taken as being whatever for saying that. But when you see, you know, there's so much going on. I mean, Rotherham, you know, it was 1,400, it went up to 1,700 cases of abuse, and we didn't see an outpouring from the Muslim community to say, you know, this is terrible. You had certain Muslim leaders come out, but no one's actually came out and said, look, this is absolutely terrible. We will do all we can within our communities. This happens next door to people, and they know it's happening, and they won't go to the police. Now, this is something that you've got to see, because under the religion of Islam, people can't go against people of that religion. If people leave Islam, they're an apostate, and the sentence of an apostate is death. So these people will find it very, very hard to actually come out and state that they've seen this going on, they knew it was going on, or maybe, you know, we're going to do something about this. They can't seem to be going against their own religion, their own communities, and their own people inside of certain boroughs and areas in this country. You know, we're seeing, I think it's Manchester now, Birmingham. You know, this was literally the tip of the iceberg in Rotherham, and we must see now really that this is a major problem. We get all the time, you know, the prisons are full of, you know, white paedophiles. That may be so, but on the scale that we're seeing at the moment, it's unprecedented. This is something that's never been seen. This isn't an epidemic; it's an endemic of behaviour, and it's a cultural difference. You know, judges are letting these people off because of cultural differences. The police, you know, even going back to Tommy Robinson, to be persecuted as he was, they'll search his house. He'll have 5 carloads of you know, Muslims, Islamists, if we can call them that, you know, sitting outside his house threatening to kill him. They won't even search the cars. There's this racism thing that people are so scared of at the moment. And let's face it, it is just a word. And look up the definition in the dictionary. It doesn't apply to us at all. You know, we've got X amount of Sikh members. We've actually got Muslim members of the EDL. We've got black members of the EDL. We've got Chinese, Polish. We've got all sorts of members of the EDL. And to be as diverse as we are, you know, and to call us racist and fascist and bigots, you know, the ironic thing really is UAF unite against fascism. Anybody that doesn't agree with their ideas, they will come down, and in which case they are being fascists themselves. You know, it's the irony in all of it. And for them to actually come out, we don't see them demonstrating about anything. We don't see them demonstrating about Rotherham. We don't see them demonstrating about, you know, the animal rights, you know, that people have fought so hard for over halal slaughter. You know, we don't see any of this from these people. All they do at any time, is come out and counter-demo the groups that are talking the truth.
You talked about apostasy in a Sharia country.
Yep.
Clearly, it could be a death sentence. Islam claims that it's a religion of free will. That means that a child that's born in it, if you're going to take that term literally, would have the free choice later to decide not to be a Muslim. So how do you see the logic or illogic of claiming that Islam is free will?
Islam in itself means submission. You submit to Allah. So there is no free will. You know, they will tell you, you know, under democracy you're not free. We are, to a point. I see a lot less freedoms. I see tyranny, oppression. You know, Islam for me is an ideology. It's a political, totalitarian cult. If you have to threaten people with death if you leave that religion, then it can't be a religion, surely. If you have to force your views upon people, people, you know, I have lots of conversations a lot of the times with people who say, you know, well, it's a peaceful religion. Well, you know, evidence suggests to us that it's not a peaceful religion, even though there might be some peaceful Muslims. Now, we can go back probably 20, 30 years to the people that first come over to our country. Very law-abiding, very nice people. What we've got at the moment is, you know, we are at war in their country. We're killing Muslims. So we've got a generation at the moment that are growing up actually disenfranchised from their country. They're not part of Britain. Islam first, Islam second. That's what they will say to you. And it's so easy then to, because they are so disenfranchised with the system, and you know, maybe they can't get jobs, maybe they can't do anything. It's so easy then to actually indoctrinate them into this cult. You know, we've had over 1,000 people leave our country to go and fight in Syria. Now, you know, bearing in mind they're only sort of 6 5 to 6 million in our country at the moment. You know, look at the percentages. You know, this is something that, you know, Anjem Chowdhury, Mikhail Ibrahim, Abu Barar, Abu Ramsar, you know, there's lots of these hate preachers. And we have no way, really, of telling what goes on in these mosques. There's been some undercover programs that have demonised what goes on. They're selling videos and DVDs and imams preaching from other countries. We can't be there all the time. So, you know, we've got to understand, really, that mosque in our language, or in their language to our language, means fortress. They're using these mosques in other countries for weapons storage.
A fifth of the world's population are Muslim. Your argument would be that even though the majority are peaceful, it's because they're not actually practicing the religion literally.
I'd say really that the minority is irrelevant. You know, in Germany, Nazi Germany, it only took so many people, you know, to kill 60 million Jews. It's the minority all the time, and our eyes at the moment are not on the minority of people that are in our country, that are in Europe, that are in other countries across the world, and their main game and their main goal, if we can say that, in Islam is world domination at any and all costs. So we can see that as a major Trojan horse, really, because they are already in every country in the West at the moment. Now, they hold certain places of power in our country, and to hold certain places of power in our country, sooner or later, they've got it pretty much sewn up and in the bag. So for them to be violent on our streets like they're being in Europe at the moment probably won't happen. But when you look to Europe, they've got no places of power or trust. So when you see it from that side, and they're all kicking off over there and rioting and burning things, and, you know, they're in the streets causing mayhem. You know, that's because they have no places of power and trust. I mean, these people aren't silly. And in our country at the moment, to have these places of power and trust, and to know that they're slowly getting in, and we've, you know, assimilation for me would be, you know, we all live together, and we live, you know, not in sort of a secular society, and it is a secular society because all the Muslims live there, all the Polish live there. You know, there's no assimilation, and once that group get in, someone says, I'm going to be a mayor, I'm going to do this, and they all vote for that one person. They're slowly getting more people into power in their country. And that can only be a downward spiral for us as a people.
So in conclusion,
yep,
from the beginning of the EDL, which was in 2009,
yep,
to now, do you believe that you've actually raised awareness on a lot of issues, and there's a lot of positiveness in what you've done, despite, as any new group, you're going to have your ups and downs?
I'd say this, you know, since 2009, it was known to contain, you know, soccer hooligans and you know, all sorts of people that come out for a fair bit of game, we'll probably say. You know, I think as time progresses, every movement will evolve. It's a natural process, and the EDL has evolved to a point. You know, from going to Rotherham all those years ago, to having Alexis Jay come out and say, look, you know, this has happened, and it was sanctioned in 2013. Without the EDL, maybe this report from Rotherham wouldn't have come to light, as well as the rest of the towns and cities across the country at the moment that are actually now being put under the spotlight. So I do see the EDL doing a good job. I do see the EDL at the moment. I mean, people say there's no point in demonstrations. There is point in demonstrations, because you will go to a town and people will clap on the way through. You know, people will tail on to the demonstration. Although they're very scared to join a movement, and let's face facts, you know, people have been sacked from their jobs for being in the EDL. People have lost their children to social services because they are in the EDL. So people are scared to come out. With the new direction the EDL are taking, which I would say is a lot more peaceful, the guys behind the scenes set the demonstrations up to be, you know, leave the town centres open. Barrier it off, let people stand and watch and listen to the speeches, so we can actually educate the people in that town as to what's going on right underneath their noses. And this again should be the media's job, and it's not. And if the people haven't got a voice, then the EDL must be that voice for the people.
Will the EDL ever get into politics?
Can't see that at all, really. This is for us more than anything, it's all about education. If we can show that more people in this country have now opened their eyes and they can see the actual problems that we face, then surely the majority, the government should take our grievances and maybe our concerns and actually turn it into something positive.